Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Ripto. I'm Christian and today I'm bringing to you altcoin battle number 3. In today's battle we've got two tokens that are the most searched in the last 24 hours, battling it out head to head over 4 important rounds. Now for those that are new to the channel, I'll just run through to you what these 4 rounds are. In round 1 we have the price percentage in the last 24 hours. What has gone up, what's gone down and who comes out victorious. In round 2, we will look at the website. Has the website got a lot of detail on there? Are the tokenomics good? Is the kind of roadmap laid out and is the team available on there, etc, etc. In round 3, we'll just dive into the Twitter and look at what the socials are saying and get a feel for what the marketing is or the hype around this token. And in round 4, in my opinion, the most important round is price action. We'll dive straight into the chart and see what is that price saying. Is it a pumping or is it a dumping? But we'll have a look and find out what is the best area and what this token is looking at price wise. Now if you want to know who comes out triumph and who is the winner of today's altcoin battle, stay tuned and let's get into the video. So let's get up that all important battle board and see who is today's number 1 token battling it out. So today's number 1 token is MetaHero. Now MetaHero was the number 1 searched altcoin token in the last 24 hours. Now it's quite new to the market and has only been around about 6 days roughly. So it could be one to watch. His number 2 challenger is CocoSwap. Now CocoSwap's been around a little bit longer and was number 3 on the all important 24 hours most searched token. Now CocoSwap is one to watch. It is a rising, so could do well in today's battle. So now you know the 2 tokens battling it out in today's 4-round challenge. What we're going to do is jump straight into round 1, which is the all important price percentage in the last 24 hours. First off is MetaHero. So we'll jump straight into CoinGecko and you'll see MetaHero as seen a little bit of negative action in the last 24 hours. It's down 15.7%. But what I'll also have to say while we're talking about MetaHero is, like I said, it is a new coin and it has been only on the market about 6 days, I believe. So as we know with new coins, they do take a massive pump up and they sort of dump straight afterwards to sort of find their bottom. So this could be what's happening with Meta token. But as you can see, in the last hour, we're still in that little bit of a downtrend for Meta token at 0.2%. So now let's jump straight into CocoSwap and see what is CocoSwap's price action. Now the last 24 hours for CocoSwap seen a significant gain, but this was after quite a big dump. So that could have a lot to do with why CocoSwap is actually pumping a little bit more than MetaHero. With, I believe the percentage gain was just over 30%. So we had a massive reduction here. Now, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but we'll look into the price action a bit later. But I think it was about a 50% dump. So a 30% increase is still a little bit down on where we were in before the last 24 hours. So there we have it. In round 1, for me, just purely because we go on facts and stats and price action and percentage, it has to go to CocoSwap. But CocoSwap has had a 30% pump after a 50% dump. So it could be flawed stats and we could iron this out in the kind of price action at the end. But just purely looking at the percentage gained in the last 24 hours, round 1 has to go to CocoSwap. So now let's dive straight into round 2 and we'll look at both of the websites for MetaHero and CocoSwap. But first up is the website for, you guessed it, MetaHero. Now what we're going to look at here, we're going to look at what information this website is actually giving us and is it very useful and do we find out a lot about what actually MetaHero is. Now obviously for the sake of keeping this video short and not 14-15 hours long, as we don't want all that, I have actually had a quick look at MetaHero's website before I'm diving into it now and can say I was very impressed. One thing we like to look at here is, has it got a good tokenomics? Has it got a good roadmap? And is there a team behind it? and what is that all important white paper like, because the white paper gives you a bit of background about the project and is meant to really be the focal point and the sales pitch for the token. Now we'll jump straight into the token here, and if I get on the right screen, we'll jump straight into the token. And as you can see, it is a deflationary token. Now a lot of people are going to be thinking at this point, so what actually is MetaHero? Now MetaHero is like an app, I believe, that's going to scan people to get into, or scan things to get into gaming. And as you can see here, this is talking about the actual token, so the buyback burn, the utility and stuff like this. But the actual MetaHero itself has a lot of tech around it, and there is a short video on their website that you can just dive over there and have a look at. Now this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Obviously this bad boy is here for your educational purposes, so please before you think about investing in anything, please go over and do your own research and have a look at their website, because this tells you can create your own 3D avatar, scan and create 3D NFTs, and use a hero token to sort of transact and stuff like that. So it's pretty much what I said. You're going to be able to scan yourself and get yourself involved in the world of tech and crypto. So now let's jump into the roadmap, and this is a comprehensive kind of live roadmap. Their Q2 of 2021 was quite aggressive. I won't read all of these out, but you can see on here they had a lot of profile investors, they had smart contracts, the core team. They want to get the Metascanner locations, because obviously you've got to scan yourself to interact with all this. They open a whitelist, YouTube channel rebranding. So they were just really building the core foundations, and they seem to have done it really well. Now we're going to dive straight into the team, because this is more important. Like when you're investing in anything, tokens or anything like that, you want to know if there's a team behind it. Because if people are putting their name to it, their own social media, etc. like that, then they're more likely to be invested in that token, and it's less likely to be a scam and a rug pull. Now obviously it doesn't make it like foolproof, but the more information we know about the team behind it, and the more information that they give us and put their name to, the more sort of, you know, weight and viability it has to that token. Now obviously here it's got the founder, which is Robert Grin, and he's like some super investor, I think, or he's an angel investor and a sort of startup guy. And he's got a massive team. You can pop over here, you see the core team here, and 16 staff with 3 advisors. So this is like massive. So they're taking this quite serious, and they've got a big team over there. So this to me is saying that this is probably one of their most important projects for these people involved in this, if not the most important. So the team's looking good. The tokenomics look good. If you're into the gaming space, this is not like a finance or anything like that. It's just a token for the gaming space. And their roadmap looks quite in depth, quite aggressive, and quite, I'd say, bringing a lot to the table. So for me, this is an absolute A-class website so far. But let's just quickly pop over to this white paper. And the reason I've hovered over here is this is one of the few actual tokens and websites that offers the white paper in multiple languages. Normally you just see a white paper and it's mainly just caters to the English speaking language, but they've gone above and beyond and created a white paper in 4 different languages. So this is putting some real meat to MetaHero and giving it a fighting chance to actually be winning round 2. I feel sorry for actual CocoSwap, because at the moment MetaHero is putting out some strong statistics and some good fight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly click on this white paper in English, because I'm English, and just go over like a couple of bits, not too much, and just kind of see what's in there. So we'll just run through the table of contents. You see they've got an executive summary, notes from the founder, they've got the market backdrop, etc. They've got so much, and I'll just scroll through this really slowly so you can have a read of it, but there's so much in depth into this. And obviously it's got like wallet on PancakeSwap, the game plan, and the 5-year revenue forecast, which I will just click, and you can see here it's got a little bit about that, scanning payments, etc. And here, if we just go to this, the 5-year revenue, it's got 12 3D scanners. And if I just scroll up, they're open by 2025. They've got around the world 100 3D scanners. Now, I can imagine these bits of kit are not cheap and are proper technical, with amount of scans coming to nearly, in the next 4 years, well, 3.5, over 6.5 million scans. So you can imagine there's some in-depth information and knowledge coming straight out of the website and the white paper for MetaHero. So now let's jump quickly over to CocoSwap and have a look at what CocoSwap's website is saying. As you can imagine, with it being kind of more of a finance app, you can see that it's very corporate looking. It tells you a bit about us, the CocoSwap token. It said it will be the fuel behind the CocoSwap decentralized platform. It is a progressive deflationary token, and it's built on the latest DeFi protocol systems. The main goal of the token is to provide decentralized transactions, network transactions, with a faster time and a cheaper exchange fee. So, you know, they're looking at doing NFTs, because a lot of companies now are getting big in the NFT market, which is the non-fungible tokens. And as you can see, if you pop over to this website, you can read a little bit more about it. It'll tell you about a little bit about CocoSwap and stuff like that. But unfortunately, and I don't need to go into it, they've not got a team. That we don't know who's behind this at the moment. So if we're looking at a website thinking, okay, who's the team behind it? Who are the devs? Does it have they got any advisors, etc.? We don't know that. So that's a big negative for me on CocoSwap. They do have an about us, but obviously that doesn't show what the team is. That just says about this token swap here. Now, they have a roadmap, albeit nowhere near as comprehensive as MetaHero. To me, this is not very comprehensive at all. I mean, if you have a look for the whole of like the Q3, they've got just a few bits with very little outlined. The alpha development start during this phase. The application will be in development on a closed alpha. You know, it doesn't really tell you, the roadmap doesn't really tell you too many great things about what's going on. So for me, that's another downside and another negative to CocoSwap website. So lastly, we'll go into the light paper. Called it a light paper because obviously it's light and not that comprehensive. And as you guessed, it's not. It's nowhere near as comprehensive as MetaHero. It's just a few bits on it. It says about the burns, it says about liquidity, it says about CocoSwap protocol, but one thing is missing and is a massive no-no on it is what it says about marketing. What allocation of the token is to marketing and what they want to do. Now we can jump into tokenomics. Is very basic. So it's just saying that 2% goes to holders, 2% goes to burn, 3% to project incentives. Now, it doesn't really give you a breakdown of what sort of like being held for marketing, what sort of being held for dev teams and staff, etc. and stuff like that. It really is just a very basic tokenomics of 3 things that they're planning to do with it. So for me, that's a very big negative. So coming back to the all-important of who wins the battle of websites in round 2 has to go to MetaHero. So that's round 1 to CocoSwap and round 2 to MetaHero. So going into round 3 is head to head with 1 round apiece. So in round 3, we're jumping straight into Twitter to see what is going on with the 2 tokens, Twitter accounts, and what the socials are saying, what the hype is around the coin, and is there a lot of information on there that would encourage us to be sort of euphoric and excited about this token. Now, as you can see already here with MetaHero, that they have got a lot of followers. So they've put a lot of emphasis behind this. Like I said, the token's only been launched like 6 days. They've already got 21.9 thousand followers. They've got a bit of comprehension around here about what it is that the token does, about the scanning and stuff like that. They've not been active and they're quite active on here. You can see the last tweet was an hour ago, and then 7 hours ago, etc. So, and they've got some information coming out, so they are putting a lot on there. But also what we have to look at is what the engagement is. So there's a lot of people liking this. You can see it's got a bit of a following. 23,000 is quite good for a new token, in my opinion. You tell me. You can leave a comment below and tell me if you think it's good. But obviously, before you do that, if you please slap that like button, press that subscribe bar and tickle that bell notification, because it really helps the channel and it helps me do great content for all of you loyal watchers out there. So yeah, so for me, just quickly running through the Twitter for MetaHero. They are active on it. They are building momentum, and there is a lot of stuff coming out, and they are getting people excited about it. So let's dive straight over to the Twitter of CocoSwap and see if people are getting excited, to see if people are getting just as excited. So as you can see, CocoSwap's Twitter is also out there with 17.4 thousand followers. So it's not as many as MetaHero, but you can see there is a bit of backing behind there. There is a bit of backing behind it, and people are getting very engaged. As you can see here, they retweeted this and they got 1.4 thousand likes, 1.3 thousand likes, 2.9 thousand retweets, and then all of a sudden it drops off a little bit. But there is big momentum around this. Obviously their Twitter is very active, and a lot of people are sort of getting buzzed. The information around it is a lot of similar info. If you have a look here and here, it's a lot of same bit of retweet, just saying a lot about how you can buy it. Pretty much they are getting momentum and they are following on the cap, but the information is pretty much the same, and there's no real diversity on there. It's just really just showing what's going on there. So for me, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to call, and you know, I'd love comments from everyone on there to see what you think, who you think wins round 3. But for me, looking at MetaHero and what information they give, and looking at CocoSwap and what information they give, and interaction of people backing it and following it up, I have to say, for me, round 3 on the Twitter goes to CocoSwap. It was close, and MetaHero has got a great Twitter account, but for me, for some reason, whether they've got more shills on CocoSwap just tips round 3. So that's round 1 to CocoSwap, round 2 to MetaHero, round 3 to CocoSwap. So it's the all-important 4th round, final round, the most important for me in price chart, and that goes straight over to MetaHero. Now MetaHero, like I said, the price on MetaHero, it launched, it came up, it sort of done the dump, then it has its pump, then the people sell off again that are buying into this token. Obviously the bots here, they're coming up, doing a little bit. You've got the big sell-off, which are the whitelisters and stuff like that, maybe here. Then the token has a nice little rally there, the sidelines, the retail people sort of watching from the background. Those who watch these battles and those who watch my sort of videos on price charts and stuff like that will know that new coins tend to take this trend. They pump, they dump, then they start going on a bit of a downtrend to find their bottom. We had a big bit of a dump here, which may have found the bottom, which is this price around here of 0.005700. So this buy box here for this big wick down may be one to watch. So for me, the price action is looking healthy. It looks exactly as a new token would look coming to the market. There's no real big fears of big pump and dumps there. So for instance, for me, it is looking quite healthy, but I'd like to see more confirmation that this is actually the bottom before I would even think about, for myself only, not financial advice, investing into MetaHero. Because obviously you could get some more wicks into this, and this would be a good buying box area to sort of snap up some cheap MetaHero tokens to dollar cost average in. Because as always, we say dollar cost averaging in is always the best method when buying into any new token, coin, cryptocurrency or whatever. And the same goes for dollar cost averaging out when you're sort of selling it to sort of gain or retrieve them all important gains. So now we looked at the price action of MetaHero. Let's jump straight into CocoSwap and see how it fares up in the fourth and final round battle on price action against MetaHero. And as you can see, CocoSwap has got some crazy price action going. It's had some massive pumps, some massive dumps, and just recently it had a massive dump. Now, I'm going to just look here, just from the high, and this is today's action. If I scroll up a little bit, you can see this is today's action here. All of this big dump here is the 12th, right from here. So we had a big high yesterday, and we had that, once that high up, that obviously shook a lot of the sellers out, and they wanted to dump, and they did a massive crazy going down to here, 50% dump. Now that is mammoth. Now, I can tell you, just looking at previous data, what I did with MetaHero, that only had a 22% dump, I believe. But we can just jump into the chart and check for the prices from their high here down to there. Was not even 22%, it was 18%, sorry. So the dump of 50% is absolutely phenomenal. So price action is crazy, but as you can see, it got brought back up pretty quick. So the dump down there to where it got brought back up to left the people probably with a 26%. So it's not as bad as it was. I mean, if you brought here, if you did manage to get in on this dump, and then you got up to here, you've got a massive 65% gain. Now these are crazy prices. But you can see here the lows for CocoSwap are pretty much around about here, and it did wick into the low. So you know, when it was crashing and dumping, this is a massive kind of support to look at, and it would be a great, again, not financial advice, buying area for Coco, because as you can see here, when there's strong buying power, so when the token does dip down to here, there is strong buying power, and people buy this token back up quick. So we've got this one on a bit of a dump now. All important to see what happens. If that starts climbing back down and bounces off this kind of support here, that's where, if you're looking to invest, not financial advice, just education, would be the place to sort of buy in. So looking at price action and just looking at how this token has been pumping and a dumping, and where the sort of the gains are coming in the buyback up, and with MetaHero being a new token, and I believe when finds the bottom will start trending up, I have to give the fourth round on price action to MetaHero. So this is the first time on altcoin battles we have actually had a draw. So there you have it. Today's altcoin battle number 3 was a close call and ended up a draw between CocoSwap and MetaHero. Now, just before I leave you, I just want to be fair to both tokens and say I'm not affiliated with any of them. Both tokens are the most searched in the last 24 hours, with MetaHero being number 1 and CocoSwap being number 3. So with that said, as always, trade safe, trade smart, and don't get